Hi, everyone. Welcome to Social Impact Speech Workshop, Day 3. So today is a very important uh, lesson. We will talk about structure, writing message, and we will actually write down our speech. So we'll start with the structure of speech, and we will also talk about what is a hook and how you can plan your hook. We'll look at some example speeches, and then after the key takeaway, you'll have to write down your speech. And it's a very important time, as I said, it's time to plan your contents. So we will discuss what is structure, how to scaffold your speech, what is a hook, and how to provide examples. So what is structure? Structure means a basic part of anything, a thing. So, for example, before building a house, a carpenter builds a base and then scaffolding. Scaffolding is kind of like a skeleton of the house, so like bones, basic columns and rows that after that he will add the roof and then maybe walls and things like that. So we can do the same thing with a speech. So first of all, we need an introduction, your main idea, concern, problem, and it's a good idea to put a hook inside your introduction, and we'll talk about that later. Then we need a body, like a main part, like our human body, same, like it's our main part. And then finally, we'll have a conclusion. And it's a good idea to provide some solutions or maybe future hopes or call for action in your conclusion. So as for the percentage, like balance, how to balance your parts of the speech, 25% should be the introduction. And of course, this is like about approximate. It doesn't have to be exactly 25%, but just like for you to have an idea of the structure. So 25% introduction, then 50% like body, and 25% will be a conclusion. And remember, in the introduction, you need to grab your audience's attention with a hook, introduce your main topic. Then in the body, you present 2 or 3 main points, examples, some stories, facts. And it's a good idea to use transitions. And transitions would be like words or phrases like, first of all, after that, let me tell you a story. And finally, and so things like those little phrases that connect one concept to another are your transitions. So use them to connect your ideas smoothly. Then finally, in the conclusion, recap your main message. So what you said in the introduction, you can say in the conclusion again, but with more power or with adding some solutions or with a call for action, kind of change it a little bit so it's more active and you can make an impact. So one hint that I'd like to give you is like when planning a speech, you can also go backwards. What does it mean is like, remember when we were thinking about the topic, we thought about what impact we want to make. So your impact is your final kind of step, final result, final goal, let's say. And then if you work backwards from that, so if you want your impact to be that, then your conclusion, your call for action, maybe should be like connected to the impact. And from that, you base on your main points and stories for the body. And finally, you add the introduction. So you kind of build it backwards, which is also okay. Or if you have a very interesting story that you really want to share, then maybe you can write your body first, like the story that you want to make, share with your audience. And then after that, you can add introduction or conclusion. So it doesn't really matter which part of your speech you write first or you think about first. The important thing is that when you make the speech, they're in that order, like introduction, body, conclusion. Or when you plan it, it's up to you. So, what is a hook? When a fisherman goes fishing, he needs a hook, he or she, needs a hook to catch the fish. So when you make a speech, you need a hook to catch your audience. So how you can catch, like, what is a hook? How you can catch your audience's attention, how you can grasp them. You can ask a question. For example, have you ever wondered how much plastic you use every day? Like if you ask a question, the audience starts thinking, you got their attention. Another thing you can do is share a shocking fact. Every minute, a garbage truck's worth of plastic is dumped into the ocean. That's shocking, isn't it? So when you share a shocking fact, everybody goes like, they stop, right? They're shocked. So you grab their attention. And another thing you can do is tell a personal story. Last year, I visited a beach covered in trash. I couldn't believe my eyes. This is also shocking, but it's very personal. And when you share a personal story, again, humans tend to feel like to other humans, right? Like emotional connection. So when you share your personal experience, the audience tends to connect to you. So you can use that as well. Or if you, let's say, if you're lost and you don't know, like if you don't have a question or a shocking fact or a personal story, you don't know what kind of hook you can include, think about a famous person, use a quote. So as Greta Thunberg said, you're never too small to make a difference. So that's a very powerful phrase. You're never too small to make a difference. So if you use it, that's okay. You're using something that's impactful. And you also, remember we talked about numbers, like you add another person's opinion to your speech, that also works as a hook. So there are different ways, and you can choose the one that you like, or you can add a few. And that's also, of course, you can have more than one hook in your speech. And that's a good idea. Too many would be confusing, but 2 or 3 is great. So think of the topics you planned in the previous class and think about what kind of hooks you can add. So you can think of one hook or many. And if you have too many hooks, like maybe you can ask your family and or friends to choose, like, what do you think? Like, I have this. What do you think is good for my speech? Maybe they can give you some advice. Now, let's look at an example. And this is example of a well-structured speech by Sovereign Collins Suzuki at the UN Summit speech, UN Earth Summit in 1992. This is a short speech, about 6 minutes, but it's really impactful. It is delivered by a 12-year-old with a powerful message about environmental issues. So her speech is clear and relevant even today. So I include the YouTube link in the slides. So please take a look at it, and you can pause the video to watch the speech, or you can watch it after the lesson. So it's just 6 minutes, so you can give it a try. So she starts with a personal story, and she shares why she cares so much about the planet. And then after that, she moves into the highlighting like the important problems, environmental problems with strong examples. She provides strong examples. And then she uses emotional appeal to connect with the audience. And then finally, she ends her speech with a powerful call to action. If you don't know how to fix it, please stop breaking it. That's very powerful. And so why her speech appealed to so many people and is still relevant today? Because of her like really, really powerful call. Like it's easy to understand. It's very simple English, right? If you don't know how to fix it, please stop breaking it. Anyone can understand this. And we all can feel how much she cares about the planet, how much she cares about the environment. and we can respect her courage and bravery, being just 12-year old and speaking in front of all these people. Her speech is really impactful. So today, the key takeaway is a good speech has three key parts: introduction, body, conclusion. Start with a strong hook, organize your points clearly, and end with an impact. And time to think of the structure of your speech. So in your workbook, type out your ideas about introduction, what you're going to put in the introduction, what you're going to put in your body, and what you're going to put in the conclusion. Just rough, like remember scaffolding, like putting those basic parts there. So, and don't forget about your hook. And remember, you can do it in whichever order you like. So this is just for you to kind of brainstorm your ideas and just add a lot of things. And of course, you can delete the things you don't need later. If you're not sure which hook to use, again, talk with your family and friends. Maybe they can help you and they can say, oh, I like this one or the other one, and maybe can give you some advice. And then after that, I recommend take some time, like rest time, and maybe one day. And after that, move on to the third task for this lesson. And that is the final, like very hard task. And it's the most difficult and longest exercise in your workbook, but you have to do it. So, like, write down your speech. We are here. Yeah, we're at this moment. So, of course, maybe you cannot do it like in one day, or it will take you some time. But take a look at all of the ideas that you've written down in the previous lessons, put them all together, and write your first draft. You can always change it later as well. But make sure before we move on to the next video that you have your speech ready, because in the next video, we'll talk more about how you present it, the delivery, like the pronunciation or gestures that you can add to your speech and things like that. So good luck in writing your speech, and I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson. Thank you. Take care. Thank you for watching.